afternoon, and welcome to the Temple of Speed here at Monza. It is the World Sim Series F4 Championship. It is round 4 of the championship as well. We've passed the midway point, and we're on to the Temple of Speed. At the top of the standings, Gavars leads Bernini by just 3 points. Then comes O'Brien, Talianos on equal 25 points, but a big gap to the lead. In Pro-Am, it's Jofert ahead of Rybatsky, Pugliatti in P3 and Gamberini in P4. Then comes Kirkis and Nikanen. And in Am, it's Niskanen at the top of the leaderboard ahead of Ojunas, Azikev and Pedersen in P4. Those are your championship standings, and we've got the qualifying session here. It's all about the straight line speed. Can you get a draft maybe, as well as the drivers are preparing their tires for another lap? This is one of those tracks where it's harder to keep tire temperature than to overheat them. And, well, Pugliatti half a second in front. We don't know if he's been working with any of his teammates for a bit of a draft, but half a second in front at Monza. That's a big, big, big margin. And I'm joined, as always, by Lodinas.
Hi Gustas, and hello everyone. Welcome to this 4th round already of the Formula 4 Championship on the World Sim Series platform. I think it's gonna be one interesting race in the schedule. The Temple of Speed, as Gustas mentioned, has such a long straight, and most of the corners are chicane type, so meaning the draft will play a big part in this afternoon's or this evening's race. And looking at the standings already, Pugliatti seems to be running alone, but he's only 1/10 ahead of Gamberini, who just set his personal fastest lap time, went straight back into the pit lane, and he will try to start yet another lap. That's gonna be very tight on time. 1 minute 45 seconds of the session remains, and you need around 1 minute and 53 to complete that outlap, I believe. So Gamberini, I think he'll not be able to start yet another lap. Gavras goes a little bit faster, 1 minute 51.3. He's in a bit of a pile of cars. He might have had some sort of a slipstream that I'm not sure if that happened, but it didn't help to get that 51.0 lap time. And we've seen pretty much faster lap times in the pre-qualifying session. 1 minute 50.6 was the fastest lap time in the pre-qualifying session, set by Gamberini and Pugliatti, 2 Pro-Am drivers who are currently in the lead of this qualifying session. Ooh, Gavras makes a mistake, and that's gonna be the end of his qualifying session. Mendel is down to P6, as I was searching for the name of Bernini up in the list, who has just overtaken Mendelis and was overtaken back by the same person. Mendel is back into P6. Only 200ths of a second separate P5 and P6. And oh, Bernini a little bit too optimistic on throttle and throws the car around. This was the battle for P3 in the Pro Plus class.
His chance for a improvement of position gone in this qualifying session. It's all about that front 2 now. Gamberini will be coming to the line very, very shortly. And can he find an improvement? Maybe he had some slipstream there. No improvement. So unless something happens, it will be Pugliatti on pole, who backs out of his lap as he saw Gamberini didn't improve, probably wasn't improving himself either. I'm sure he wanted to be the only one into the 1 minute 50s, and moves further back in the field. Let's see what Mendelis can find here. It is his final opportunity in the qualifying session. Has got a 10th to make up if he wants to go up 1 position. He's got a lot more to make up if he wants to go to the front, and he will not make up any positions. Bernini still out on track, however, his qualifying attempt is done, as it is for Sarma. Dobrovolsky to P10, and I'm sure that was an improvement because I don't remember seeing him in the top 10. No, it wasn't actually. Just looking at the timing screen. Bernini's definitely out. We saw him spin, so he's not on a fast lap. So he's just maybe checking out the track. He's on the hard tire. So definitely trying to see how the grip will be once we go to the race. And we can have a look at the results of the qualifying session. Pugliatti at the top of the standings ahead of Gamberini, 1/10 separate the front two. Then it's Cavers, Asp, Mendelis, Bernini, Rybatsky, Sarma, and Samir, 9th. 10th goes to Dobrovolsky, Nikanen in 11th. 12th for Junas. Then it's Ezikeev, Sobek, Kirkis, Frisch, Pedersen, Korch, Maximenko, Dovidaitis, Weber, and Fraioli in 22nd and last. For class pole positions and class top threes, it's Pro-Am of Pugliatti and Gamberini, which they're first and second overall as well. Third in class is Rybatsky, all the way down in 7th. Pro Plus, it's Cavers, Aspen, Mendelis, 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the grid, and in the 13th and 16th is Frisch. He'll be 3rd in class. So those are your class positions, and we'll get ready to go. That turn 1, it always throws up some drama. The front two will be hoping to get away from it. Everybody will be hoping to get away from it, but we don't often see a clean turn 1 at Monza. Let's see if we'll have something different here. 1 minute to go until we go green. The red car at the front of the field. The Italian fans will love this. It's not fully red, but close enough as they get ready to go. There's another red car that's of Cavers, but in a deeper red, the Latvian red colors. But the home fans, they've got a home front row lockout as well. 2 Italians on the front row. Let's see how they get on down into turn 1. It's a long run down into turn 1 as well, so you can use the slipstream and have an opportunity to pass down into that first corner. Just 10 seconds to go. It's round 4 of the World Sim Series F4 Championship. And we're green, and it's not a great start from the pole sitter Pugliatti, and it looked like Gamberini was just a little bit better off the line. Let's see how they run down into turn 1. I think Gamberini's going to have that inside line and going to have the advantage there. Look further back in the field. Is there more action incoming? Oh, bails out of it. Pugliatti decides that it's better to cut the and he just gained 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, he did. That's a shorter runoff when you try to choose that the cutting of the chicane.
He's going to redress right here. Oh, off the road through Curva Grande there.
It's Aspen out of the race.
He got stuck in the gravel. Maybe Mendelis up into a podium position. Normally at Monza, why I was so surprised about turn 1, normally actually that runoff is much slower than going round the chicane proper, but I guess in this version of the track, the chicane on the runoff is actually much quicker. Here comes Pugliatti, though. He's got the slipstream behind Bernini, and he'll try and make a move. No, he actually comes off the throttle. So maybe these two want to work together to get forward, to get away from the field. He signals to the inside, but nothing changed. He does have Mendelis about half a second behind, so they're not completely clear. Maybe he's waiting as well to do it down into turn 1.
Or they they can play the team game, you know. The slipstream gives you an advantage, but as soon as you go for an overtake, that slows both of the drivers down, and maybe they plan to lose the tail a little bit just to let themselves battle a little bit. And remember what happened 2 weeks ago. These two were also leading the race, but well, after a nice battle,
Mendelis isn't even really using the slipstream behind. That's interesting. It's going to be an easy move for Pugliatti down into turn 1. He should take the position. That's a battle. Oh, no, actually, they're going to go in side by side and a little bit of contact. Mendeles says, thank you very much. I might even go and take myself a P1 spot here as well.
Why
so
not?
Gamberini and Pugliatti have contact once again. And this time, well, they don't lose as much as they did in Imola. But still, it's going to be Mendeles to side. Gamberini to the outside. Who's going to back out first? It has to be Gamberini. Can't go too wide through there. At least very risky to do that. Mendeles into the lead. Unexpectedly, I think, even for him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll gonna hold on too long in this lead position, but he's battling in the Pro Plus class. He's currently ahead of Bernini. Bernini is behind both of the two Italian drivers. Bernini, by the way, also an Italian driver. So one Lithuanian at the front, and three Italians chasing him down, and that's Pugliatti again against Gamberini. I think they need to kind of figure out a team game here, because they are losing pace and positions when they battle each other. Oh, Pugliatti off the racetrack, and a huge mistake of the driver, and it's, well, the history repeats itself. We've seen these two drivers perform on phenomenal pace 2 weeks ago, but they always made mistakes, which does not reflect the results that they did achieve 2 weeks and 4 weeks ago.
Break the slipstream at the front. This is going to turn into, well, not really super speedway style racing, but definitely something close to that. So Gamberini is going to take the position. This is normal. There's not really much Mendeles can do. Smartest thing here, stay behind. If he can get that good pull from the leader, he can just stay behind this whole way through and get back past on the straight, have him pass him again on another straight. So really, Mendeles is in a great position here just to stay with the pack. The important thing here, because of how low powered these cars are and how effective that slipstream is, you kind of have to run an oval strategy where you have to pit with somebody else. This might be an advantage for them. If they pit together, they can still benefit off that slipstream, not lose the draft. But Mendeles actually losing time, and he's the only one on the mediums in the top 5, top 10. The only other one is Sarma in 10th place. So Mendeles will have to change tires here. So this puts him completely out of sync with everybody else, because he'll have to spend way more time in the pit lane unless he thinks he can take this medium tire to the finish.
Well, we are going to figure this out as usual. 30 minutes race with one mandatory pit stop, where drivers have the ability to choose their strategy. They can hold on one set of tires for the whole race and just have a very short stop at the pit stop, at 1 liter of fuel, and get released back on the racetrack. And the others can choose to start on softer tire, give it the maximum push during the race, then come into the pit lane, change the tires, add fuel, and well, try to win the race in such way. Pugliatti is setting the fastest lap time, and now he's the driver who is getting closer to Gamberini again. I don't think that's gonna be a move, just a short glimpse into the mirrors of Gamberini. And he's back into the ideal racing line. Mendeles holding on to Pugliatti while using that slipstream. Now he's gonna think wise whether he should lift the throttle off slightly and try to stay with the pack, or try to overtake the car to keep that momentum, because Bernini is also not too far behind from Matas Mendeles. And Matas does understand that if Pugliatti tries to pull out a move on Gamberini, he might risk to get Bernini a bit closer to the back end of his car. And these are two battles for the lead. The Pro-M cars are currently in the overall lead. Mendeles is in the lead of the Pro Plus class. And I think Rybatsky is also kind of getting a little bit closer to Bernini, or at least trying. He's still within reach of the leaders. He's currently 3rd in the Pro-M class, 5th overall. But if these cars continue their battle, Rybatsky still kind of in the game here on this racetrack. Dobrovolsky from 10th to 6th, and he's 1.5 seconds behind Rybatsky, where Pugliati is trying to pull out a move around the outside into Parabolica. I think it was
not going to happen. That's not the place you try and make a move around the outside. He'll try and get back on the straight, but this, again, is a benefit-ish to Mendelis. The problem for Mendelis is that if he really has to change tires here, this has to be... Oh, wow, that's going to be off the track. That's definitely a move made off the track because he went over that white line. You can't do it even on the straightaway. Contact down into turn 1. More contact. Pugliati into the gravel and is going to spin round and just about avoided more contact. And, well, it happened again.
Yep.
And Mendelis into the lead of the race because Gamberini dropped 2nd. He's going to be under attack from Bernini. Coming back to the strategy issue here for Mendelis, Monza being a track where you have to draft all the way through, and the draft is so effective, you're never really going to make a gap that you can at Imola, that you can at Mugello, or any other track where you can make big inroads and you can make a big gap while leading out in front. Here, unless you break the draft, that's the only way you can really move forward. If he really has to change tires, this is a big blunder here because he can't recover 12 seconds around. Oh, in spin in the background. That's exit of Lesmo 2. A place where a spin like that happens often. Be careful. Don't do anything silly. Here's battle for P6. And Nikkanen... interesting livery on his car. There's a spark plug on it. It's white and yellow. Definitely stands out. That's nice to see. I like liveries that do stand out.
Into Parabolica. Well, Kirkis left the door open to the inside line into the final corner. That's definitely going to be a position gained for Nikkanen. Pugliati is right behind these two drivers, all in the Pro-Am class. That's going to be a battle for P4 in class. And Kirkis will try to get that position back into turn 1. That should not be a problem. Nikkanen trying to get a little bit more of that slipstream, and that might be side by side into turn 1. But Nikkanen wisely avoided that, trying to get a better exit.
Gamberini back into the lead. Pugliati now on the back of this pack. So we missed the overtake for P1. We might not miss the overtake for P6 here. Can he do 2 into 1? He's going to go to the outside here. This turns into the inside for the chicane. Can he get them on the brakes? Looks like he does. Can he make the corner? He does. Up into P6 and has... he has Dobrovolsky and Rybatsky, both cars in Pro-Am. And, his compatriot leading the field in Pro-Am and leading the field overall. Mendelis still staying with him. Not a surprise. He can, however much he loses through the Lesmos or through Ascari, he gains it all back down the straightaways. And let's see here into Ascari. So he loses about 0.2 of a second-ish. We'll see how much he can gain back down the straights. He might even have an opportunity down into turn 1.
Yeah, but he's on those medium tires, and while he's in dirty air, the fronts of the car get abused a little bit more, so he has to be careful with those high-speed corner entries just to try to keep those tires alive. Unless he's definitely on a tire change strategy here, then he can abuse those however he wants. His main rival is Bernini. And with 18 minutes on the clock, I think Mendelis has a couple of more laps to do if he'll decide to change those tires. Otherwise, he might be staying on the racetrack for as long as the other drivers do. That's Nikkanen, Sarma, and Kirkis. Nikkanen lost a little bit of time here in the battle for P7 with Kirkis, and that allowed Sarma to get a little bit closer on these two battling drivers. Bernini is still within 1 second of Matas Mendelis. That's the battle for the lead in the Pro Plus class, unless Gamberini or Pugliatti will get transferred to the higher class after these successful performances. Nikkanen losing out to Sarma. Sarma locking up those tires. I think, who was that other car which was on the medium tires? That's Sarma. And he locked up those tires quite badly. So, and he has a damaged front wing, still performing quite well here. So maybe the damage is just visual.
He's another one on the mediums?
Yep, he's on the mediums. Yep.
So he'll... Unless really that the concern was that the hard tire can't get enough temperature, maybe that's the only reason you really go for a medium here.
Yep, the thing
we'll see
that's
it soon. 17 minutes to go, so next time by will be the midpoint of the race. That's when you'd expect a pit stop. Car going slow on the bottom there, and this might be a chance for Bernini, who's on the hard tire, to make a move here. Mendelis moves out, gets past the traffic, and Bernini fastest lap of the race. He had a perfect draft all the way around. He's going to go down into turn one side by side. He'll be on the outside, but he saw what happened between the other two cars and decided to back out of it. He'll have a chance into the next chicane as well. What lap times is Pugliatti doing? 52.7, a little bit slower than the race leader, faster than everybody else in front by a big margin. Here comes Bernini once again to the outside, and once again can't do much. He'll have to wait until at least Ascari, but probably wait a little bit longer because he knows Mendelis can come back at him. The question is, when do they pit?
Oh, Mendelis runs wide. That's going to be an easy move. That should be an easy move for Bernini. Yep, Mendelis went a little bit wide on the exit there of the second Curvedlismo.
I guess Mendelis should now come down to pit road if he does indeed need that tire change. Right now, Bernini has lost any chance of a slipstream in front. Mendelis goes to the inside, and he's gonna take the position. The small onboard on the left-hand side, that's Nikkanen versus Sarma, and will Mendelis come down pit road?
That's blocked.
Not.
And the entry was blocked by Bernini. Gamberini setting the fastest lap time of the race so far without any slipstream. That's how fast he is. Nikkanen was, and that's Pugliatti setting yet even faster lap time, faster by 0.3, as we still look at the battle between Mendelis and Bernini and Sarma and Nikkanen. Oh, actually Sarma went into the pit lane, so Sarma was running on those medium tires, and he chose the 50-50 strategy, went into the pit lane for a tire change, where Mendelis left on the racetrack. So if he'll not pit by the end of this lap, it might mean that he will try to reach the end of this race on the medium tires. It's a shame we don't see how much worn the tires are now for the driver, but by the looks of the driving standards of Mendelis, it doesn't look he's saving those tires by any bit. He ran wide on Curvedalismo 1 lap ago, meaning that he's early on the throttle. Maybe he just saves those fronts a little bit more with an easier entry into the corners. But while these two drivers are battling, Gamberini is already 3.5 seconds in the lead, and Rybatsky is only 1.2 seconds behind Mendelis now. Mendelis slowly losing the draft. I think the mediums are going or fading away for the driver, and it's still 13 minutes on the clock, so it might be the moment for Mendelis when he'll dive into the pit lane, change to the hard tires. But well, looking at the gaps between the cars, I think that's gonna be game over for Mendelis with this strategy.
Let's see what he does here. Still doesn't pit, so maybe he'll try and carry the tire all the way through, but He's already losing pace. I guess well, he would have decided before the race what he's going to do, because that dictates also how much fuel you put into the car. But I don't think he's got a real shot of catching back up to Bernini. Good news, though, is that Samir, the next pro car, which is 9th, is really far away. So he doesn't have to worry about dropping more. Here's Pugliatti. He's closed right up to Dobrovolsky in front. That is 5th, and that is for position in the Pro-Am class. He might even have a chance into the Lesmo here. He might do into Lesmo 1 and gets the move done. Should survive it. He does, and if Dobrovolsky's smart here, he's not going to try and take him back into Ascari. Maybe try and get on the back of him and see if Pugliatti can pull him closer to Rybatsky. Rybatsky, though, now he's getting closer to Mendeles.
Yep, and
might
there's
be on the attack here.
Yep, there's gonna be a battle between these two cars that should help Pugliatti come a little bit closer to this battle. The Pugliatti and Gamberini are in a battle for Pro-M standings in this race, but if Gamberini ends up with a win this afternoon, we speculated this the last round. I think we can't speculate again. Both of the drivers might be promoted to the Pro Plus class because, well, at pure pace, they are unreachable, unbeatable, and unstoppable. They just do make those mistakes that put them a little bit lower in the standings. But on pure pace, wow, these two Italians, they are in rocket ships.
Yep, really, really, really quick. And looks like Mendeles is definitely sticking with that medium to the end strategy. But problem is, it doesn't look like it's enough to get closer to Gamberini. Can't pit away from it either. Well, he probably can. For Rybatsky, I think he wants to get forward as quickly as possible to have any chance of keeping Pugliatti behind. And he might have this chance here. Mendeles a little bit sideways on the exit. He's going to go to, well, Rybatsky's going to go to the outside. It's not the best line into Ascari, but it looks like he has that grip advantage here, but not enough, and is going to lose more time, and both of them are going to lose more time here. And now Pugliatti in with almost within a second here.
Oh, Mendeles is really struggling on those tires, and I think he's going till the end of this race. That's going to be positions lost lap after lap, because with every completed corner, these tires will degrade even more. And now I don't see a reason for Mendeles to even go for a change. It's already too late, only 9 minutes on the clock. Pugliatti pulling out the fastest lap time, so the Hards are holding on perfectly. There is a slow car coming out of the pit lane. Oh, it looked like it's trying to go on to the ideal line finally. It saw these cars approaching and left room, but it looked a little bit sketchy at first sight. That's Pugliatti already behind Matas Mendeles. He's 5th. That's going to be 4th or even 3rd as Mendeles tries to gain that 3rd spot back from Rybatsky. All that battling in front of Pugliatti just going to help the driver to get a little bit closer quicker, as these two break quite late. Rybatsky almost making that corner. That's one done for Pugliatti, 1 to go, and he'll be 3rd overall. And I think P2 is still in the reach for Pugliatti, even though that's not in class. Bernini is a Pro Plus driver. Mendeles on those curves, almost losing the back end again, having a small slide. That's going to be an easy overtake for Pugliatti. Rybacki waiting out a little bit, though the overtake against Mendelis will not change anything for Rybacki, and he'll have to look into his rear view mirrors because Dobrovolsky has joined that game in the battles on the racetrack. Mendelis goes wide on the exit of Variante Ascari, and that's going to be the move for Rybacki.
And
yep, that's done. We are on board with Dobrovolsky, who is running behind Mendelis and Rybacki. I think that's a lot of swear words. Oh, Rybacki into the pit lane. Mendelis stays on the racetrack. Mendelis already knows how much in trouble he is, and I'm pretty sure he's now very angry on himself to choosing those medium tires. It was a risky move. At the beginning it worked wonders, but towards the end of this race it looks like a nightmare for Matas Mendelis. His pace becomes so slow, he can barely keep that car on the racetrack, throwing it around, clipping those curbs, almost spinning, but still staying on the racetrack. As Pugliatti goes up into P2 after Bernini goes into the pit lane a little bit earlier than expected from the drivers who are on that 1 liter strategy. But, well, at least they can try something different than their rivals. If it doesn't work on the racetrack, just try to gain some advantage while doing a slightly outsynced strategy. Usually you see drivers going into the pit lane with 1 or 2 minutes on the clock, just to have that short last stint.
And he's come back into free air. Is that the best thing to have here? I don't know, but he didn't really have any slipstream in front of him. So it's a no-risk try, and maybe he can find something to gain here. I'm not sure he can. This is Dobrovolsky now, and he'll get the position on Mendelis. And looks like Mendelis might be coming into the pits, at least by his line. He stays tight, and down into pit lane. It's just going to be a splash. Pugliatti does as well. And this is gonna promote Bernini quite a few spots up, 2 exactly. And is Nikkanen staying out? He is. So a couple more laps for him. Pugliatti coming out of the pits already. He'll be slow though on the exit, so shouldn't be a problem here. He's definitely Mendelis has closed in as well, I think. So something happened to Bernini.
And Mendelis getting back on the racetrack in front of Rybacki, behind a slower driver. This is a lapped car, that's not a battle for position. But I think that helped Rybacki a little bit. Of course, Mendelis with that slower main straight speed after coming out of the pit lane didn't have the ideal line through turn 1, and that's not going to be a big problem for Rybacki. Mendelis even not even trying to defend. I think he has a mission now to end this race. Oh, Rybacki just made a mistake. I think he outbraked himself, and well, again, Mendelis back in front of Rybacki, but I'm not sure if he's willing to be in a battle with Rybacki. He's now fully concentrated on finishing this race off with those stars. It's still 4 minutes on the clock, and I think Mendelis' pace will go down, will skyrocket down on pace in these final laps. Pugliatti 1.3 seconds behind Bernini, and this is actually a battle for P2 in the overall standings. If Pugliatti will be able to pull out a move on Bernini, Nikkanen and Dobrovolsky will head into the pit lane shortly, and that's gonna give Pugliatti a clear track. If he overtakes Bernini, that's gonna be Gamberini and Pugliatti 1-2 at the end, if no mistakes are to hit the track. Dobrovolsky and Nikkanen into the pit lane. Pugliatti on the slipstream of Bernini. 3/10 separate these two drivers. By the way, Gamberini is still staying out on the racetrack, just getting that car to the maximum possible stint time. Regarding the rules, this is a late break into turn 1 and Pugliatti managed to slow down the car. Bernini had to take avoidsive action slightly and actually made a small mistake by himself, allowing Pugliatti to pull away. I think Bernini is kind of not in the mood to battle Pugliatti at this stage of the race. They are in different categories.
Yeah, but I don't think he had really a chance to battle here. Pugliatti has been so quick, and really battling here would just push him closer to those guys behind. But Pugliatti has recovered to P2, but obviously contact in the beginning there with Gamberini removed any chance he had at a win here today. Same thing happened in Imola. They had contact, and Gamberini his final opportunity, and it is gonna be the final lap of the race being started right now as he comes down into pit road for his splash and dash.
I think Gamberini has a slightly damaged front wing.
Pugliatti has a damaged side pod, so I think that's probably related.
Yep, those two drivers had a contact in the first corner. And that's not gonna be a too huge of a gap. Pugliatti pulling out another fastest lap time. That's still gonna be a huge gap because that's the last lap of the race. It's about 8 seconds. That's how much Pugliatti managed to pull out during his stint. Even a little bit smaller here. So nice performance by Pugliatti in Monza race. He did well in Imola Grand Prix, even with those mistakes. He finished second. He's now looking at a P2 finish yet again. Even after having that off track and losing plenty of places in the opening minutes of this event. But by the looks of it, that's about it. No more battles in top 10 places. Mendelis, I think he'll be able to hold off from Dobrovolsky, as that's Fries against Pettersson. Battle for P11 into turn 1.
That's actually a battle for P2 and AM. In the last lap of the race, they'll go side by side. A little bit of contact, but they both kind of get out of it in the same shape. Can one of them have an advantage down into that chicane? Looks like Pettersson on the outside had a tiny bit of a better exit. He'll take the longer line though through Curva Grande, and coming into the braking zone, who's going to be the last on the brakes? It is Frisch, and he goes up into second, but Gamberini, well, takes the win by a huge margin. But his compatriot Pugliatti behind, who'll finish second, he'll not be too happy about that. Nikkanen will be 7th, and now the results will go crazy because everybody needs to finish. Here's Frisch. Now behind him is Pettersson, and actually that's a lapped car involved in that as well. So here comes, is that Pettersson to the inside? No, I think that's a lapped car that just overtook them.
Yep, that's Kirkis in P18th.
And this is all going to come down to the final corner battle for P2 in the AM class. Frisch is going to be on the outside. He tries to push Pettersson a little bit to the inside. Can he find the grip on the outside here? He brakes a little bit early, trying to get the switchback, and this could be a photo finish to the line, but no, he comes off the draft, and, well, he'll have no chance to take that position to the line. And even though it's close, it's not close enough, as Ikev, though, won in AM. Oh, and got taken out, and he's
celebrations
the AM
gone wrong.
AM class winner. Pro Am was won by Gamberini, and Pro Plus was won by Bernini. We can have a look at the results. So it's Gambarini, Pugliatti 1-2, and 1-2 in Pro-Am as well. Then it's Pro Plus with Bernini taking that win, and Pro-Am P3. That goes to Rybatsky. Mendelis takes P2 in Pro Plus, and that is 5th in overall. Then comes Dobrovolsky, and he takes P4 in Pro-Am. Am winner Azikev in 9th, and 11th for Pedersen, and 12th for Frisch. He's 3rd in Am. The other cars in the top 10, that was Dobrovolsky, Nikan, and Sarma. And Samir, Pro Plus, takes a podium, 10th overall. That's the end of the race, and we'll be coming back in 2 weeks' time for round number 5, and we'll be heading to Silverstone, and also on March 21st. It's the 12 hours of Sebring on World Sim Series with the all-new Race Sim Studio cars. You still have a chance to sign up for that one. But this will be all from us tonight, and see you in 2 weeks' time for round 5.